Postgame Show.
First down, touchdown. Dive to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
With Hardy, Mike Dussault, and Paul Perillo.
Hand off to Stevenson. Runs it left, big hole across the 40. Cuts left at the 45. And steamrolls the defender there.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email this show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hope y'all keep that same energy for tonight, baby. Can't wait.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Now that's what I call football. This post-game show, this episode is thank you. All right, that's what I call football. This episode of Patriots Postgame is presented by DraftKings. Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, as the Patriots get their first win of this young season, 15-10 over the Jets at MetLife Stadium. We welcome you in over the phones, 855-PATS-500, email webradio@patriots.com. My whole mantra about this was everybody was thinking this game would go a certain way, that it would be low scoring, that it would just be gross, a lot of middle of the field, back and forth, and I thought, well, it's going to go the other way. Somebody will figure out a way to air things out a little bit and move the ball and score some points. They did not. It did not happen. And what you got was a Patriots win, the most important thing, but a game that was, let's face it, at times not easy to watch.
No, and
by times, do you mean while the game was going on?
I mean,
generally from the first minute to the last minute.
There was one play of any interest.
That's the only play
the
I
Farrell
remember.
Brown touchdown.
Yeah.
That was it. That really was it. I mean, in terms of our good, bad, and injured, we're going to have a lot on the injured today, unfortunately. But in terms of like good and bad, there's not a lot. There's not a lot to dissect, I'm afraid.
No, let's just get it out of the way. Hey, they won a game. They had to win it. They got the win. They're 1-2. They're underway. Great. Okay.
I have some goods that we could talk. I don't really have a lot of bad other than just the game itself.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I'll save my rant for the goods, the bads, and the injuries.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into it right away.
Now it's time for the good.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
The bad.
Hey, what happened?
And the injured.
You all right, guy?
Good, the bad, and the injured, brought to you by the good players, the bad players, and unfortunately a few players that got a little banged up today. So we'll start with Mike Dussault, your first good.
Oh, hey, Farrell Brown. I got to put him on there for that touchdown. I don't think anybody expected that one. And I think, when we talk about the plays that we'll all remember from this game, that one will be the one.
This will be the Farrell Brown game.
This will be the Farrell Brown game forever.
I always tell you I like to name the games.
Yeah, but hey, nobody expected that. I didn't even think he was going to be able to outrun him, but great job to finish the run, and just a huge play. Look at this, we're getting the Romo vision, which is amazing. We'll see if he hit 20 miles per hour on that run. I'm guessing he might have, but not a lot of major offensive highlights in this one. But this was certainly the number one highlight. So nice job, Farrell Brown. Had another catch later, I think, as well.
He did.
Chipping in a little bit as well. But nice catch, nice touchdown. Needed it. That was the difference in the game.
Heretofore, keep your nose to the grindstone. Retainer.
Retainer.
You suspect.
All right.
I'm going to go sort of wide-ranging here, but just everything about the defense today. And, the game plan to me is where I kind of – and I don't know enough about the X's and O's to explain to you exactly what they did. But the game plan,
they haunt me is what they do.
The game plan was excellent. I thought they had some different kind of base sets early downs to stop the run. They had Anthony Jennings out there making a big tackle for loss first play of the game.
Yep.
I thought you saw some Sam Roberts. Unfortunately, they had to rotate through some defensive linemen. We'll get to that later in the segment. But and then they coupled that with going back to the man coverage that has really bothered Zach Wilson. I thought Gonzalez again was excellent. So kind of wide-ranging, really everything about the defense today, from the play to the execution and the game plan, I thought was outstanding.
Yeah,
I know what they played, so I don't want to get added. Okay,
yeah.
I know who they played against today, and I know he was responsible as much as anything for how well they played defensively. But I thought the game plan is exactly how you should play that guy.
Yeah, and I thought it was
Make
perfect.
him beat you.
Yeah, based on like our keys, it just seemed like they had a specific look. We are going to put our heavy lineup out there on the defense. We're going to put 3-4 base personnel. Just 4 defensive backs. Sam Roberts is in the game. You mentioned Jennings, who had a great first play. I continue to be intrigued by him.
20 carries, by the way, for 36 yards.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Split
me
up
and Paul's,
between Hall and
maybe we'll have
Cook.
to split the key. We'll see what Hardy comes up with.
There were no Hall passes, bro.
There's no Hall passes at all. And although we did stop the run, I don't know how much fun we had. I guess we're having some fun now, though. But yeah, no, I agree with you. And just the approach made a lot of sense. Look, we're not interested in having to roll Judon out there to make a statement. We'll save him for the passing downs, and we'll let the other big guys take care of the run. They did a great job, and really it shouldn't have been as scary as it was, but they did a good job.
Split the key, chop it up, cut it, get a couple of G-packs out of it, see if we can make some money.
Rub it down.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh no!
So defensively, I was trying to come up with something more specific. Paul just covered it all.
I apologize for that.
No. Because it's not fair. I was going to say downfield coverage. The downfield coverage was excellent.
Everything was
But
excellent.
so was the run defense. And so was I call it the pass rush. It was getting to Zach Wilson and making him uncomfortable, which, let's face it, I don't think takes a whole lot. But you got to do it, and you get into the backfield. It
seems like if you went, hey, Zach, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
Get back there, let them know you're there. And they did. They did it all day. And
all over him.
And let's face it, there were a couple of times where he did have time, but the downfield coverage is the one I guess that I would point out was so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
Gonzo again was
so good.
on point.
Getting praise from Romo, and I mean, he's just.
I do think that was a lot to do with Zach Wilson, but yeah, I mean, again, everything about them defensively. I mean, you hold an NFL team to nothing. Big stop in overtime by the Baltimore Ravens. That's my first red zone chime in.
That's fine. I mean, I honestly, after a game like that, I think we all deserve to watch some red zone here.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see how football is played.
I'd like to watch some football today.
Miami scored 70 points. 70 points. That's too many. Too many points.
Just so you know, I don't think that the Jets could score 70 points if there was no defense.
If it was just me, you, and Hardy out there, the three of us trying to stop
If they were
them.
required to throw the ball 3 out of 4 times, do you think they could score 70 points? Is
it raining?
Well, I mean,
In the
I don't
rain,
know.
yes.
Somehow they did it on that drive, but it was just bad.
It was really bad.
All right, so we up to Mike?
Yeah.
Anything else over there, Mike?
I guess. I mean, not really. I think you've kind of covered it all with the defense. Those were primarily my Jennings. Judon with the sack. I thought that was a big play for the safety there at the end. But I think overall, though, Paul, you pretty much covered it.
The safety actually kind of, in a weird way, hurt them because it allowed them to flip field position and have a chance. Like
Jets should have done the intentional safety.
No, but if you think about the way that unfolded, I'm not suggesting they did it on purpose because they didn't. But if let's just say he checks it down here because this guy who's wide open, and they get 10 yards, they punt. The Patriots aren't going to take over on their own 15.
That's a good point.
And that's where they took over, is on their own 15 after that free kick by Morstead. So that has actually worked out in their advantage, and then they end up getting the ball at the 45-yard line, which is really good field position.
Yeah.
They went 4 and out because the chucklehead checks it down on 4th and 10.
What was that?
I just don't get it.
I
don't get it. I had one more, I would say.
Break a tackle,
I'm
slow tight end.
going to give Hardy a chance to chuckle at me. Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
I thought he ran. First time I saw him, looked like he had any. I don't think he had any burst, but any production. He was 16 for 80, 5 yards a carry. That's a healthy day.
Yep.
That's a healthy day. I thought he ran well today.
More on that in a second.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, for somebody who's so willing to give him praise, you think he would have been willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, say he could have rushed for over 23 and a half yards.
I only missed it by 50 yards.
Right.
I think sometimes, though, Paul relishes the chance to admit when he's wrong about something.
Because I'm not afraid to say that I'm wrong.
Got an opportunity here to prove that I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong.
My last
I'm
good,
wrong.
just being able to score first and play with a lead for once. I don't know that it makes a difference in this game. I really don't know that it factors in all that much.
I think it's a good key.
Yeah, but I mean 3-0 just to get out in front for once this season and get on the board first in the first quarter, mind you.
They haven't been ahead all year, so to play with the lead the entire game,
they scored in the first quarter?
Was quite valuable. I do not believe they have any points until today.
Yeah,
in the first quarter.
All right, good progress.
Great
progress, not perfection. All right, let's get on to the bads.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna let this fly. I mean, I'm gonna put it under the banner of second half offense, but I would say especially focusing on the end of game situational offense, where you had at least 3 different opportunities to close this game out with a first down, and you weren't able to get it. I'm not sure what that pass to Juju Smith-Schuster was. Like, that looked like they were completely not on the same page. Why are we, a play to close the game out, we're targeting a guy that has not been productive, has not been on the same page, and again, that ball falls incomplete. So I feel good about the win, but I just am scratching my head and honestly a little bit like annoyed that it was this close of a game, that they couldn't close it out, that the offense just went, all right, field goal on 10 for 42, that drive in the opening. Then 3 penalties and a punt on the next possession, 6 for 17, punt, 6 for 32, punt. So you talk about situational football. I thought that it was just gross down the end. And to have that kind of opportunity and put it back on the defense, not once, not twice, but 3 times, I just found that to be unacceptable. And you're playing a team that is as bad as it can get at the quarterback position, and yet still somehow they're firing to the end zone to potentially win the game on the last play. I find that just kind of repulsive.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I would just say the overall sloppiness, and it wasn't the entire game, but it just picked up. And there was a drive. I want to say the second drive of the game. They had the decent field goal drive to start, and then they had the ball and they were moving again, and they had 2nd and 6 from around the 20. And, I think Cole Strange got called for a hold. They ended up getting no points on that drive because they got knocked back and made it a long field goal. And then in the second half, you get like a ridiculous cheap shot, I thought, blocked by Juju, just a kind of a needless penalty. That pushes them back inside the 10, and you're not able to get out of that hole. So I just thought the overall, and the back-to-back false starts after that, a lot of sloppiness that contributed to their inability to put the game away in the second half. So I would agree with Mike.
Okay. You have another one you want to add?
I didn't really have a ton of other bad things. That to me is a really dumb penalty right there.
Yeah.
You're blocking the wrong way, which is illegal. You're blocking a blind side, which is illegal, and you're kind of hitting a guy who's not even looking.
Yep.
It's like there was a lot bad about that play, and I just feel like that they did some curious things, I felt, in the second half. But, it was enough to get the win.
Yeah, the sloppiness, the back-to-back offensive line penalties, it just bothers me. And I gotta put our kicker on there for a bad today. You can't miss 2 field goals.
Yeah, I was going to put Cardona too, just included in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had the bad snap on one, and then, if your calling card is your big leg and you're supposed to be able to hit from distance, I'm not saying you got to be perfect, but you can't miss 2 in a 15-10 game, and he missed 2. So,
here's the thing I'll say for him. He's what does he kick now? 5 field goals as a pro. It's 49, 48, 48, 57, and 51.
Yeah.
Right. They're not giving him
Jesus, can you give him a chippy?
I know.
Yeah. Something to help build the confidence a little bit, but no, that's not what this team is built for right now, building confidence on offense.
But that's the only reason why the game was close, is the Patriots' inability to score on those drives in the first half, which kind of left it, a 10-0 game, and you sort of, they were hanging around.
Yep.
Any other bads you want to get to, Mike?
Yeah, Ramondre. 19 carries, 59 yards, a 3.1 clip, long of 10. I just don't know what's going on with him. I just don't really feel like he's seeing it right now. He's not really finding the holes. It's just, Paul said it, pretty nice game from Elliott. I didn't really expect that Elliott would look better than Ramondre Stevenson coming into this year, but it's just kind of 3 middling block games. There's a lot of times where it just feels like he's slowing down right as he gets to
He's got that
the line,
hesitation
and then
at the
he
line.
just gets tackled. There's a lot of runs for no gain. We're not seeing him slip out of tackles like he used to. He's not on the injury report. I gave him the excuse a couple of weeks ago of being, having the stomach ailment, and maybe that was what limited him. But I just don't think it's been a great start to the season for him. He hasn't been a weapon. He was super effective in training camp. Seemed like they're throwing him the ball all the time. He had the drop pass on the third and 3 on the second possession.
Which he probably would have been able to get a first down had he caught it.
Yep.
A guy would have had to make probably a tough tackle in space there. I like Ramondre's chances on that.
But I'm just kind of curious what's going on. He can't really seem to get it going. Plays like that where, it seems like there's maybe something there, and then he's not able to really get free, break a couple tackles, and make some big gains like he has in the past.
Yeah.
That's been his MO. It just hasn't looked like Ramondre yet.
Now, I do think, and I agree, he didn't produce today, but I do think that he had a good share of carries today where he just got hit as soon as he had the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's getting hit behind the line. I do wonder about the shotgun runs for him if they're not necessarily his forte. But you're right.
Thing.
I mean, the other guy was productive, and he wasn't. 3 yards a carry compared to 5.
And as far as we know, his tum-tum's all better now. So
It's been 2 weeks. It better be better.
He doesn't
Get
have
some Pepto in there or something.
Imodium, something, anything?
Ginger ale. Mom's got the ginger
medicine.
ale.
Yeah. And Werner's in Michigan. We drank Werner's.
Werner's?
Yeah, that was the brand that we drank.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
When you were sick, would you what would your mom give you to be sick in? Like if you're gonna throw up, was there an item? Because we used to have a bucket in my house. Like get the bucket. It was just like a little bucket that we would. But my wife did like brown
barbarians.
My wife's brown paper bags. I'm like, that doesn't seem like it would contain the
what is
the
she?
vomit.
Is she a flight attendant?
I know, right?
What is she
barf
doing?
bag.
A literal barf bag?
Well, she's making fun of me for a bucket. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, at least you can clean it out.
A little, but it was more of it was like a little basin almost. It was like
it had a little curve on it.
Yeah.
Ours had a little curve on it. It was actually, I think, built to like, and it kind of
to get the overrun.
Form-fitting.
Good post game
Yeah,
talk.
I would connect it because I felt like I needed that in the second
the Colts
half.
have beaten the Ravens.
Wow, Colts. That's
How
bad.
about
It's bad for
that?
me.
Colts beat the
A
Ravens.
lot of knockout pools blowing up this week.
Gardner Minshew.
I think Colts Ravens is going to knock a lot of people out. I got hammered with the Texans game there, so
Some crazy scores, it seems like today. I really can't fully grasp what happened. I don't have the Paul supercomputer mind where he's already knows all the results.
Ravens?
You know everything that's
So the
probably
Ravens
happened.
just got screwed. They had the ball around midfield. It was 4th and 3, and they went for it. And they had a little crosser to Zay Flowers, who got absolutely mauled, tackled before the ball got there.
No call.
Gave the Colts the ball at midfield. They got a first down and kicked the winning field goal.
it is amazing. He's sitting here talking, participating in the show, and he just recited what happened there perfectly.
Game
it's
book.
impressive.
Call him
It's
Paul
not-
Game Book Perillo.
It's a big monitor right there.
Well, I know.
And
I don't have the mental capacity.
in fairness to you guys have to sort of turn your head away from the conversation, whereas I'm talking to you and watching it at the same time.
I have to
he's got
stare at
one
it
eye
for
on that.
5 seconds before I know what teams are playing. And it's like you're identifying players and missed penalties and everything else. There's no sound up on it. By the way, that Texans-Jaguars game, did you hear that stat that was thrown out, I think, at halftime, that the Texans have owned the Jaguars? It's just like this random thing where a team that
Paul, you
hasn't.
didn't tell me about that when we were making our picks this week.
Which
You're
one?
supposed to inform me when teams own other teams.
Like the Texans have owned the
Oh
Jaguars.
yeah, I was not overly aware of that one,
Like-
so I apologize.
Eight out of the
We gotta
last
write these down.
9.
I had the Jags. I lost that one.
Yeah, so I lost that one, and it was some unbelievable number, like 8 out of the last 9 games or something. That's nuts.
9 times.
9 times. All right. Thank you.
I think I already mentioned it, but I think Choo Choo should be on the down list too.
My professional life is like an annoying.
I agree. I think that he just looks thoroughly ineffective.
Doesn't look like he knows what's going on.
Strangely, Matt goes for him twice on third downs
Big
late in the
plays.
game. I don't know.
Does that feel like a little bit like let's get him a big play, let's get him, like you're trying to
Maybe.
put the narrative in front of the play and just. But it is weird when you look at their totals from tonight, because Kendrick Bourne got 4 catches and everybody else was 2 or 1. Nobody else had more than 2 catches other than Kendrick, who had 4 for 46.
What else we want to do? Get to the injuries, shall we?
Yeah, some significant ones there. Godshaw left out ankle, Aquale left out shoulder.
I thought it was elbow.
Elbow?
But
okay.
you may be
that
right.
might know. That was the general what they were looking at initially, so I'll put elbow. Seemed like Cole Strange was out for a little bit, but he went back in. Peppers came out for a little bit. He went back in. Hunter Henry left for a second. And he went back in. I don't think I'm missing anybody else.
Nope, those are the 4 that
would
I
you say
had.
Judon and Peppers both went back
Yeah,
in?
Judon, that's a good one.
Strange was out with, I assume,
Riding
the
the
knee,
bike.
but then someone said they were looking at his ankle. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an additional injury.
Great.
And then, did you mention Henry?
Yeah.
Henry we
When
did.
when hosts aren't listening.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
how I end up watching Red Zone and miss the conversation.
That's okay. 70-20, the Dolphins beat the Broncos.
70.
Beat the bag out of them.
Did that go over? What was the total on that?
It was 100. 100 was the over.
For those of you who care about these sorts of things, Brandon Staley saved his job by the defense forcing an interception in the end zone to close out that game. He went for a 4th and 1 from like his own 20 at the end of the game with about 1:50 left, and lived to tell about it when he didn't get it because they had a deflection in a pick.
All right. Shall we go to the phones?
Are you doing the Arsenio Hall thing?
Oh, you'll see why I'm doing the Arsenio Hall thing.
I believe because we have Jabrill Peppers on the line from MetLife Stadium, and we want to thank Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL, providing players and coaches with the tools to succeed. Check out the powerful Surface Pro 9. Go to surface.com. Jabrill, congratulations. Great game. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Jabrill, just how does it feel to get that first win of the season off your back?
Man, it always feels good when you get a win in this league. You know what I mean? We earned it. We worked hard, but now we got to start stacking them up.
So, Jabrill, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the defensive game plan. It seemed like you guys kind of went with a base look on early downs, really stopping the run, but yet you guys didn't seem to sacrifice anything on the back end. The coverage was really airtight all day. What was the key to all the success you guys had?
It's like you said, stopping the run, make them one-dimensional. We knew that we had to stop the run and let our great pass rushers get a chance to rush the passer. So, that was our main focus. We didn't do a good job of that last week. And, we wanted to come out with an emphasis to, stop the run. Physical teams, they stop the run the ball, and cover kickoffs. So that was our mindset this week, and I think we came out and executed.
Jabrill Peppers joining us now. I got to imagine there's some games where you come off the field, feel like, okay, I put in a good day's work. You must feel extra good today because you're working a lot out there on punt return. You actually left the field for a moment and then came back. There was it seemed like there was no way you were not going to be on that field today whenever you had the opportunity to be.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I take pride in that. Whatever I can do to help my team win, and all the guys in the locker room feel like that. We all know how hard it is to win in this league, and whatever we can do to give our team an edge, we're going to do it.
Jabrill, just how did it feel? You guys had a few different opportunities. You needed to come up with stops there at the end of the game. Are those the kind of things that you guys can build off of there, being able to close the door, getting a safety, forcing the 4 and out, all that?
Absolutely. Whenever our number's called to go out there, we plan on going out there and execute. We take pride in that. And, we don't talk about it. We just going to be about it, and that's our mindset going forward.
Jabrill, it looked like you were having some fun on those punt returns. The second one, it looked like you were a little bit, disappointed. It looked like you were like maybe a hair away from a big play.
I felt like I could have got more yards on that one. I just got to get my knees up. I was a little rusty back there, man. It's been about a year. I tore my ACL returning, so on this very stadium, and I was just a little rusty. I felt like I could have did more on that one, get my knees up. But, I'm happy I could go out there and, handle the ball the right way, give our team good field position.
Just along that note, Jabrill, it seems like, you've really emerged this year in this defense. I mean, and the special teams, you've gotten back to where you were. Just, to have that kind of performance on that field where, you played for the Giants, and I know you grew up in New Jersey as well. Is it, something special for you about this game a little bit?
Every time I come home to New Jersey, I always want to do my thing, but I want to do my thing week in and week out. It's a team game. I just want to do my part, play the best of my ability, help the team out in any way I can, and, hopefully that translates into wins.
All right. Well, you got the win today. Congratulations, Jabrill Peppers. We appreciate you taking the time to join us, and good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. There
Thanks,
you go.
Jabrill.
Did you see Deuce light up?
Oh, Deuce loves Jabrill Peppers.
I mean, that was
yeah. We should all have somebody love us the way Deuce loves Jabrill Peppers.
Yes. Okay. If he sees this, you just ruined it. You may have started. Do you guys have any kind of rapport right now?
Probably not.
No.
Okay. So you could. This
just
could have been
staring at him lovingly.
This could have been the start of something, and then he watches that. As you're doing a little heart sign. He's like, I'm not talking to that guy.
He's weird, man.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'll work it out. I'll go up to him in the locker room. We'll chat it up. Sorry.
You need to talk to him just to find out. It's like, hey, when did they tell you were going in on punt returns? Was it after the first one? After Douglas did the bobbly boop?
Yeah. You notice I thought I was tactful with that. Not really, I didn't bring that up.
Right.
No, I mean, I brought up the fact that he was back there, but I didn't expect him to necessarily volunteer anything. And if ask him directly, he's certainly not going to say anything. But
I wasn't paying attention, though. Could that have been divided up by plus 50 punts, or was he taking the ones that were backed up in their own zone, or I'm not sure. I'm just throwing it out there. Like was Douglas?
I think they just made a change, and I think that the only reason why he came back was because Peppers was probably tired.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I don't think they liked the way that Douglas handled the first one with the double catch.
I don't think any of us did. All right, let's continue here. We've got the good, the bad, and the injured out of the way. We spoke with Jabrill Peppers, and now we will speak to you on this episode of the Patriots Postgame Show, which is presented by DraftKings, 855-PATS-500. You can get the emails in at webradio@patriots.com. We begin with Pat in Agawam. Hello, Pat.
Man, oh man, was that ugly.
Well, come on. I mean, they got the win. It could have been uglier.
Yeah, I'm not sure it could have been.
Listen, I'm happy they got the win, and they got a division win, which is big too. But and I hate to be negative, but man, dude, Juju effing sucks. He's terrible. I know Evan said that he gave him the N'Keal Harry vibe. He reminds me more of like Chad Ochocinco in 2011. He looks lost out there.
I'm sorry, who looks lost out there?
Juju.
Oh, still on Juju.
I agree, and it's a tough combination between looking lost and not looking explosive.
Yeah. See, to me, I don't think it's lost. I don't think he has any juice. Mm-hmm. I think it's. I think Evan's thing about N'Keal Harry, that's kind of what I don't see him separate. I don't see him explode.
Right.
I don't see any athleticism, and I have to think it's at least partly due to the knee.
Yeah, and I mean it's crazy that Mac went to him with the game on the line, but. Hey, man, I'm just happy to get out of MetLife with a win. I mean, they got a tough game coming up, and, we'll see what happens. And, Arizona.
Starting to fall into place. Derek Carr's dead. You get another backup coming up in 2 weeks. The whole Dallas offensive line's out. It's all falling into place.
See?
All right, guys.
Thanks, Pat. We'll see you.
I'm trying to ramp up the crowd here.
Okay, so the Taylor Swift in Kansas City thing, it's an actual thing. I thought somebody was goofing on Twitter.
No, she's there.
She's there. She's there. She's watching from one of the luxury boxes.
Did you think it was weird, like during the course of the week when people were talking about this, like how dismissive some people were? Like they're not dating. Like,
I don't know.
How does anybody know?
I don't.
Like, how do you really know?
The Swifties don't want to believe it.
No, like sports people.
No.
Like ESPN.
Sports people don't
like I'm listening to them talk about it on ESPN, and they're like, like one of the I would credit the person, but I don't remember who said it. And they were like, like we all know they're not dating, right? And I'm like,
why?
I don't know that.
How do I know? Like, maybe they're just talking. I don't know.
Who do you think dates Taylor Swift and/or Travis Kelce? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. But I will say this, and I don't know who brought this point up. I thought it was a very good one. Travis Kelce enjoys a certain level of fame and success now. That is a different life when you're hanging out with Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
Like Travis Kelce can probably go to a restaurant. Not when he's with Taylor Swift, he can't.
Oh, no.
Like he can't go to a store. He can't go to the movies.
I totally agree with you. That's a different level.
But if you're dating Taylor Swift, why would you even want to? You've got Taylor Swift.
Well, you just Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Paul.
What?
That means sex.
I don't know why you have to say that.
You don't even know what you're saying.
Oh. Did I say a bad thing?
Mark, and I'm going to say Cheshire as opposed to Cheshire. Am I right on that, Mark? In Cheshire, England?
Yeah, Cheshire.
Cheshire. Okay. Yeah. Good enough.
Cheshire.
Right on.
Hey, listen, Netflix and chill with Taylor sounds great to me.
Oh.
Listen, I was going to call.
Cheeky.
I started the game. I was talking to Fred on curse words, and I started the game thinking, oh, we've cracked this. Max was throwing the ball around. He's trying to get everyone involved. And then I realized that he's getting them involved, but they're not making a play. All he's doing is throwing it to them, and then we've got no yak or anything like that going on. And the second half, man, it was just a collapse. It was awful. and it's so frustrating when you watch it. And you know where we've said before on the past couple of games where we've had moral victories. Is there such a thing as a moral loss? Is there such a thing as like a moral victory? Because I think that's what we got. I mean, I don't know where we go from here. You know, a blocking tight end is the only person who actually made any plays, and that's great, but that's not going to help us. Juju was atrocious. We got nobody out there. I just don't know what to say, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
I want to ask you one question about Cheshire. This is a county in England, Cheshire?
Yeah, it's a county just south of Manchester.
Is Liverpool near you?
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, about 40 miles away from me.
I think you have a bit of a Liverpool accent, or maybe Liverpool has a bit of a Cheshire accent, wherever it is. So I
heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Cheshire and Liverpool border each other. Around about Warrington area is about the border. So.
Excellent. Okay. All right, Mark, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Sounded like John Lennon. I was
hey,
like,
no problem, guys.
All right. No, I think what Mark brought up is something I saw on another chain and another thread, like moral victories. I'm not going to give them a moral loss by no means. But if you want to just feel okay with the win and leave it there, I'm okay with you feeling that way.
Yep.
There's not a lot else to take out of this game.
Yeah, I don't do the moral win, and I'm not going to do the moral loss either. I would say that that's as sort of uninspired as you could feel after a win. Like, I mean, it's better to win. I said before the game, and I maintain the same stance after the game. They just needed to go down there and find a way to get a win. A loss was going to end the season. I think at 0-3 it would have been over. Now I think at least you have something in the win column, and now you get ready for a Cardinals team, which, by the way, just watching early going here, they look in utter disarray and disinterested in playing. So, you know, who knows? Maybe they're feeling themselves, you know, with the way they played the first couple of weeks. We'll see how it unfolds, but. Yeah, I mean, I get anybody that wants to say, well, that felt like a loss. Sure, if you want to say it felt like a loss, fine. But, I mean, it was a win, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel a lot like one of last year's games. Just a couple positives for Mac, which I liked. Some of the third down throws he made. First possession, 3rd and 6 to Gesicki for 18. 3rd and 6 to Bourne. 3rd and 5 to Pop Douglas. 3rd and 3 to Juju, got one there. 3rd and 8 to 85. So, I mean, he had some throws in this game, but overall I just left feeling like we didn't really take a step forward in any way today. We kind of grinded it out like we usually do, but there wasn't a lot to say, hey, here's an element we can continue to build on. It feels like they're trying to scrape things out, and again, it just went so sideways at the end where it was just unable. Like, if they could have just closed the game out with a first down, I would have said, hey, we can take the Pharaoh Brown and the fact they closed the game out, but you're left with just the Pharaoh Brown.
Yeah, I thought, and I was a little critical in the pregame show of the offense in general. I still maintain that. I think the offense is still very, very average. But I was critical of Bill O'Brien and some of the differences in some of those third down throws that Mike just talked about. According to Tony Romo, we're kind of subjected to the TV. Some of them were tremendous route concepts that created rubs, and I think Gesicki got open on one early. I think Devontae Parker had a 3rd and 15 that they said what a great route rub concept they ran to get him wide open on the sideline there. So I'm going to give Bill O'Brien and his guys a little bit of a pat on the back for some of those, because there were some big plays that didn't always. Matter of fact, it never resulted in points. But I also think that the touchdown put them in. That they got them to blow a coverage, and Sauce, like, they were like either Sauce or Whitehead made a mistake. Sauce is covering Hunter Henry. Like, I'm pretty sure he's covering the outside guy, and that's the guy he was closest to. So I don't see why he would have gone down the field with the inside guy. But whatever it was, all it took was one play, and they made it.
We'll stay geographically close to Cheshire. We'll go to Paul in Glasgow, who emailed in, opportunity to get your season going, however, hampered by strange decision to be extremely cautious and burning clock the majority of the second half when there's only 10 points in it. Bills shouldn't hate the Jets. Their inability to take advantage of Pat's offense roster mismanagement, keeping the Wolves from the door. On a positive, Peppers quietly becoming one of the bright lights on this team. Love the show,
Hey.
Paul in Glasgow.
Hands off, he's mine.
Paul, email back a photo of you doing a little heart over your chest, and that will infuriate Deuce.
I don't know. Just hopefully nobody clips that shot that was just there of Paul coming up from under the table next to you.
Did you guys think?
Ross in the UK, by the way, I'm so annoyed by the win. It's like they shut down any semblance of trying to score because they didn't think the Jets could score.
Okay, so that's two.
It technically worked, but only just.
Do you think that they were conservative in the second half?
I don't know. I mean, initially,
I don't know
I'm not
what
going to
more
say
they
really
can-
no.
I don't think they were
they
conservative in the second half.
I felt like they were throwing the ball on those last possessions. They were
I
spreading
thought they
things
threw
out
it too much.
Yeah. I mean, but by the same token, I just didn't think they could get really much going with Stevenson.
This was a game that, in my view, and I said this at some point during the game, if they do not turn it over and they just punt after every possession, they can't lose this game. Yet, 3rd and 15 from their own 10, they're throwing 16-yard outs to Devontae Parker. Like, that's the only way the Jets could have won the game. Is if one of those is offline. And to Mac's credit, he did not throw any interceptions today. But I don't think they were overly conservative. They were ineffective. There's a difference.
Yeah.
We're going to have to play the side of positivity here today. This is unbelievable. Patriot reality from Efren in Hollywood.
They only had 17 first downs.
The Patriot fans can count on death taxes and beating the Jets. This was not an impressive victory. The Patriots should petition the league that they should only be obligated to play the Zach Wilson Jets. It's just people are completely. I understand you being unimpressed with the product, but I don't know that you have the luxury of starting this game a fan of an 0-2 team and not being happy with the win.
No, but it's you're in a different place now. I think it's still kind of jarring to people to be excited about a 15-point scoring outing.
And it's funny, I don't know anybody really that predicted much different than what you saw.
Yeah.
Like we all talked about, it was going to be a trip to the dentist. It's going to be a low-scoring game, and someone will make a mistake or whatever. Now, instead of a turnover mistake today, the mistake was in coverage to give them a free whatever it was. Yeah. How many yards was the touchdown?
58.
58. Yeah, they gave him a free 60-yard touchdown. That's the mistake. The one mistake in the game, the one egregious mistake in the game, that was it. That was the difference.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what a lot of people felt like this game would be. 17-13, 13-10. How many 13-10 predictions did you write down, Hardy, in the pregame? There's like 3 or 4 guys called in.
Yeah, there were. Well, our Zach Blatt.
He picked 13-10 Jets, and a couple of guys called in with 13-10 predictions. Yeah. And then the game goes 13-10, and everybody's like, this is disgusting. And I get it. I'm not thrilled with the game. I'm not trying to be the contrarian and say I was really excited about that win. But that's what everybody thought it was going to be going in.
No, you're right. And I think it's just jarring, too, with the quality of the product. I mean, it's just like sometimes I think like that's even more of an indictment when people are just like, the Patriots are boring. Like there's nothing, you know what I mean? There's just nothing going on. Like there's one touchdown the whole game.
And can we say like the Jets have a pretty good defense. Like to go on the field as many times as they did with no hope today and still come up with a stop is not easy.
And every time the offense takes the field, you feel like more hope is being sucked away from you because of their performance.
Every possession was ending with 4 guys from the Jets offense talking on the sideline, or
fights being broken up apparently.
Trying to get something to, through to some guy, the defense to go out there and just force punt after punt after punt the way they did. That's a good defense. Yeah. That's a good defense. I'm not taking anything away from New York today.
Brandon in I don't know where Brandon is. Brandon Grooms says, why don't we see more play action, especially when we get the run game going like we did today with Zeke and Ramondre?
Seems that you didn't really have a great running game today, but you did do some play action today.
And it seems like Mac excels at play action. We just never see it. I appreciate the shots downfield. Also wonder why we don't see more dink and dunk to get the chains moving.
I don't know. For me, that's one of those things I'm not really charting and really clocking during the game. Something to look at. But, I mean, I know Evan's been all over that. But we'll see. They did run some of it today. I don't know how much. Hard to say,
they had a couple. I mentioned it to you on one of them. I was like, whoa. Was he under center there? Was that a little play action? And they did. They did try some different things. Wow, as Dallas continues to go backwards. down 9-0 in the early going to the Cardinals.
I'm telling you,
kind of aren't
survivor
really trying
pools
to win.
today. Kaboom!
Yeah, I think TJ has Dallas.
Fire Bill Belichick. This is from Eric. We need to fire
Scal?
Bill. His refusal to help the offense is pathetic. Screw Gonzo and everyone raving about him. We need weapons, and Bill missed every step of the way since 2018.
All right, so I'm going to give another perspective that I'm probably going to get made fun of. They also got a little unlucky today at the end of the first half. Now, I think it probably was it would have only been 3 points, but they should have gotten a pass interference on Demario Douglas. I refuse to use nicknames of grown men that I don't know. But that's pass interference right there. I think it's Michael Carter. He clearly hit him right there. Like the grab, the grab I can do. I'm okay with because that's just kind of hand fighting. But right here, he hits him before the ball arrives.
Yeah, he had no chance.
Right
on it.
there, he's hitting him before the ball arrived. That's pass interference to me. Now, I tend to bash the refs.
Looks like Bill agrees with you, Paul.
Yeah, I tend to bash the refs. Well, Bill was arguing about the Mate Mapu play last week that got fined like $6,000. But this is pass interference, and I don't think they would have scored a touchdown because of the amount of time left, but they would have had a shot.
Yeah.
They would have had a play in the end zone from like inside the 10, and if he doesn't get it, it's a chip shot field goal now instead of a whatever it was, 57-yarder. That's a big difference. So I do think there was a little bad luck involved on that. They probably should have gotten 3 more points.
It is pretty funny, though, about Chad Ryland. All his field goals are, like, right at midfield. Like, he doesn't get anything.
No, it's 48, 48, 49, 51, 57.
It's like, no easy ones, buddy.
Now we can go back to the phones. We had a little bit of a hiccup there, but we're back. Devon? Yeah,
Gotcha?
Devon. No. Different Devon. He's in
Devon?
Connecticut.
Okay.
He's already in Connecticut.
Hello, Devon. What's going on?
You okay?
Are they driving?
Congrats on your baby.
What are you doing? Devon, go ahead, please.
How you doing, brother?
Good.
So, there's a lot to take away from this game. We got the win, which is great, of course. I like the way our defense looked. It looked pretty solid. Last week we had some trouble, but we stopped Tyreek and we shut down Waddle a bit. That gave up the run. But this week we put him in the box and we played the run well. I feel like we did good overall. There's some things we need to work on. I feel like we need a solid number one wide receiver. That's one thing we don't have. I feel like when we get down or we get in situations where we need to take a shot, there's no solid guy that we can go to that's going to make the play. I think we need that. That'll make a huge difference. I feel like Jabrill played great today. Judon had a bit of a tough game. He's going to get back there. I think Becton, he's on Becton's side usually. So, he had a tough game, but overall, I like Christian. I like Christian Gonzalez. I know he plays a lot of boundary corner. So that sets him up in a lot of one-on-ones. But usually does pretty well. He might get burned a couple times. He's a rookie, But for overall, I feel like we did well. We played 2 good teams to start the season. I didn't expect to win those games. Right now we're not built to win a championship. We can make the playoffs, but I feel like we just need a little bit more, help on the offensive line. Even though we did all right today, be better. We did well on defense, though.
Yep.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Devon. Yeah,
I thought the defense was outstanding today.
The call
won you a game.
The call for a number one wide receiver, which has been going on for a while, is not going to stop until you have somebody who looks like a legitimate number one wide receiver, and until somebody evolves and just takes it even by default. No one's even taking it by default.
No, it's
their receivers weren't good today. I don't think they created a lot of separation during the course of the day. I just didn't. Yeah. The offense looked disjointed. I thought there were times where they made plays, and Mike rattled off a number of good conversions they had. They were about 50% on third down, so it wasn't like it was a train wreck on offense, but they just never seemed to consistently string plays together. They would get a nice 3rd and 15, like the one we were talking about to Parker, and then it's 3 out and punt.
Yeah. When we got into the show on Tuesday, my thing was, after a day of reflection upon the game, offensive line and running game. All right, I don't know, there's all kinds of personnel issues. We need guys, but let's just start with the protection and try to get the run game going. And you came out of this game, I don't think they allowed a sack. They rushed for 140 yards. I know
you can't blame the offensive line today.
Super efficient, but I felt like they ran the ball the best that they've run it in the 3 games. So, they kind of hit the 2 things I wanted, and it still kind of was similarly productive.
Yeah.
So that's what's a little bit disheartening, is that they fixed the 2 main things that I would have said coming in are the biggest problems. Like, you got to get the pass protection right.
It's a great point,
And you
Mike.
got to get some running game going. 15 points, 13 points.
But
13
this is what I've been getting at. It's been like, well, if you could run the ball and you can protect Mac, okay, well, you did those things and your passing production went down today.
Yep.
So now what's the excuse?
Right.
Their offense, and I'm not blaming anyone, okay? It is what it is. The offense is limited. And today, probably wasn't a great day to throw the ball with all the rain, all the slipping. There was a ton of guys slipping early in the game. Ramondre drops an easy one in the flat that probably is going to be a first down. I got to think that's at least partly due to the conditions. But, he's completing about 50% of his throw, 51%. I mean, that's not very good. And again, you take out the 58-yard touchdown.
Looks a lot different.
Which had nothing to do, it was blown coverage. It was wide open. They didn't really do anything else.
You don't get to the red zone?
Now they were able to rack up 40 carries, which is good. And 3.9 a carry for 40 carries isn't bad. But I felt like they ran the ball well enough today. They protected the passer well enough today, but they didn't separate well enough.
Yeah.
How many
and make enough plays.
How many trips to the red zone for the Patriots today?
I believe none.
I don't think
0. I don't think they ever had possession inside the 25.
The Jets had 1, I think. That was it. I mean, it was like watching Sharon and Westboro a couple of weeks ago. Like, it's just the whole game is in between the 30s. Like, no one is able to move the ball. Punt, 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 punt.
Wow. All right. Anthony in Columbus. What's happening, Anthony?
Hi, guys. Good afternoon.
Hello.
I wonder. I was thinking, I don't get to see them very often because I live where I live, and I saw the first game. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The first game was on television here, and I said, "Yeah, this offense is move the ball, like up behind, and we all know what happened in the first game."
I would say the first game was the best the offense moved the ball out of the 3. I agree with you.
Yeah. There's so much in this league that is dependent on the quarterback. There are 6 or 7 teams that have a quarterback that's capable of winning a Super Bowl. It seems you have to go all the way back to the 01 or 02 Ravens who won a Super Bowl with a middling quarterback. But okay, if you look at other teams, like the Dolphins scored 70 points today. The Dolphins were terrible for a long time. Kansas City was terrible for a long time, and now they've become what they've become. I wonder what you think about, like, what's the? I mean, we're spoiled by 20 years of unprecedented success. Like, when do you think this team will be? I mean, never mind Super Bowl contender, playoff contender.
Okay.
Well, they're a playoff contender now. They could make the playoffs. They were a game away from the playoffs last year. They could make the playoffs.
The quarterback thing, I get what you're saying, and no one is putting Mac Jones in any category other than the one that he's in. So that's fine. But to say that you need to have one of these handful of guys can we expand it to make it to the Super Bowl? And if you do that, you open things up and you actually start to accept a lot of different possibilities. Now, you can say whatever you want about Matt Ryan and how unable to close it out, but they should have won that Super Bowl. And we're talking about Matt Ryan. You can get to the Super Bowl. I'm a Matthew Stafford guy, and I by no means think that he is an elite quarterback in the NFL. He's very good, but Matt Stafford has a Super Bowl win. He did more than just make it there. So you don't need to have. Well, if you don't have,
I think Matthew Stafford is really good.
He's
I know you have the Lion
personal.
Is
he in the when guys mention
is he Mahomes? No,
is he?
He's top 10 though.
Okay, so top third. It goes beyond just 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I think that's what he's looking for, is a top third guy.
Well, yeah.
I'm going off of what he said. It seems like you want to have one of those first mentioned players, and if you don't have one of those guys, you might as well count yourself out. And I'm not there yet. I think you need to expand it out a little bit, especially in a season like this where there's parity.
I think to be a title contender, you might need one of those guys, but you can be a solid playoff team with a top third guy.
But like, let's be honest though. Like we all used to make fun of those teams that are like, and now the 6th and 7th, seeds that there's no real chance that those, like, they're playoff teams, but everybody knows the bottom 2 teams probably in the conference are going to get smoked in that first round and aren't real contenders. Like, what people really want is to be in the conversation with the good teams and to think, like, when we play Buffalo, when we play Kansas City, when we play Miami, that we're going to have a real chance to win. And I mean, as close as last week's game kind of looked on the scoreboard, I still don't think that they're a team that is in that echelon. And yes, they're flirting with playoff, making the playoffs, but I still think they got a ways to go before they're really one of those teams that's actually going to make noise in the playoffs.
Let's go to Kurt in Delaware. Hello, Kurt. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings. What do you got for us?
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Kurt.
I just wanted to comment on the Mario Douglas. It was good seeing him out there playing. I'm glad that he wasn't sitting in a Bill Belichick doghouse. I just wanted to kind of comment on something that I think it could have been either Paul or Fred said during the week that maybe it's something that after he got benched from fumbling last week, maybe it's something that the coaching staff sees that he's been doing in practice. Maybe he's dropping a ball, he's wobbling it, and they're just kind of not really they're not really confident. And when they see him doing, he's a rookie, so they kind of benched him for that reason. So seeing him kind of bobble that first snap, even when he came back in the game, he kind of ran right into a defender. He just kind of didn't look right. So maybe that's like the coaching staff's kind of defense, like, hey, you know what, he's making little small mistakes. And I kind of give him a pass for last week if that's the case.
Yeah, I made that. I did make that point during the week, and I don't know, but I was willing to say, I'll give Bill the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's shown some bad habits with ball security during the course of practice, and maybe that's factoring in. But I would just say I thought there was some weirdness today to his usage. He bobbles the first punt.
Yeah.
And then Peppers returns at least the next 2. Then he's back out there. And the one that really got me was that there was a second down on the last drive where they're trying to get a first down, and they run a little end around to him. They flip the ball to him. So now we're real concerned about this guy's ball security. We're just flipping the ball to him with the game on the line, where if it's a mishandle, it could potentially lead to a disaster. And the other thing on the punt return where he ran right into the guy, I would argue, like, are you drilling this so much into his head now that you've it's like
overthinking it.
It's like the Justin Fields thing where he's talking about, I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to the coaching. And I know everybody took that as a shot. I don't really think Justin Fields meant that as a shot at his coaches, but I think sometimes when you stop playing on instinct in your ability, you think too much.
Yep.
And you're thinking about, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. But like that one, like he just took, and we just showed the replay here, boom. I mean, that's, like, you just wonder if he's just so concerned about holding on to the ball and not putting it on the ground. And obviously that's the most important thing. Bill always says it.
Yeah.
The most important part of every play is that you need to end the play with the ball.
By the way, a report from MetLife, somebody walking past the Jets locker room could hear the players screaming at each other. So the inner term. This is Patriots fan stuff. You gotta let them have this.
But they love this. There's two things that are going to happen. I'm going to predict. The Patriots broke another team, despite the fact that Zach Wilson hasn't completed a pass in 3 years in the league.
They broke him like 3 years
okay?
ago.
Yeah.
That's going to be one thing. They broke another team, and the other thing is going to be, whoa, Paul, what do you think of the Patriots defense? Nah, Miami got 70 this week. Yeah, I think the same. I think they played lousy on defense last week. I think the same.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being at home in your home opener and everything is rolling, and as opposed to you're on the road for the second week in a row after a West Coast trip, coming up the coast and missing 2 field goals, so you didn't score 30 points.
Could it be that the Miami offense played better today?
Yeah, well, I think the Miami offense is really good.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think the Patriots defense played really good last week.
Did Miami have a good week offensively last week? I mean, just looking at some of the decisions they made,
right.
and some of the things
if you
they
compare
were
it to
doing.
Without
70,
Waddle too.
If you compare it to 70, yes, they had a
well,
bad.
that seems kind of like
they had a bad week. But last week they had over 400 yards And if they don't miss 2 field goals, they score 30 points on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for the Patriots defense. It's just like crazy to me how they can be just so absolutely dominant against a bad team, and they'll be okay against a good team. But they could, like, when could they be this dominant against like a Buffalo? Like, could they shut out Buffalo in a game like that? And that like skews all the stats at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, you look at the stats, you're like, well, they're this.
They only play 17 games. So when you shut a team, when you shut a team or 2 out like that like it skews the numbers. I say that all the time.
Josh Allen puts up 40 in his sleep, but then like you go out and you play Jacksonville a couple of years with nobody, and it's like 60-0.
And I kept saying this, and maybe you guys will disagree, and that's okay if you do. But like, did you feel last week that if there was ever a situation where like the Patriots took the lead or tied the game, would you ever have felt confident that Miami wasn't going to score more? Like, don't you think Miami could have scored more if they felt like they needed to score more?
Oh, I mean, I think I have a lot of respect for. I mean, look,
but I just mean the way the game, the way the game unfolded.
No, sure, and because of what I just said. I mean, if it's the Jets, like right now, was I sweating a little bit today? Yeah, a little bit, but not. But because, like I would have been with Miami, where it's like it feels
Zach
like
Wilson,
inevitable.
I never really thought. The only way I would have been worried, and it almost happened. It almost happened, was something fluky like that.
Right, and that was probably what the Jets need to.
They're
going to
throw one up. They're going to throw one up there, and someone's going to be open.
Yeah, pinball off of somebody.
And look, they're terrible. They awful. Zach Wilson.
This is a really good Hail Mary, I will say. He gives this guys all time. Look, everybody's down there by the time the ball comes down. He's got 4 white shirts right there.
It was really good. Yeah,
and it goes right to Randall Cobb. This was scary.
Yeah, you got a hand on it. But as bad as they were, they did score 10, and other teams around the league even today. Titans were held to 3. Falcons were held to 6. Those are bad teams too. The Commanders, they were held to 3. So before you go puffing your chest out too much, that Jets offense is completely, inept. They did score on you today, twice. So, I'm not saying you have to shut out the other team in order to, praise your defense. We did praise the defense.
Oh, I give the defense all kinds of praise today. I don't care who you played. You shut them down.
You wouldn't have won this game.
You completely shut them down.
I mean, you didn't really have much margin for error. I mean, for as dominant as they were, one more touchdown, different game.
Exactly. Now, and that goes back to what the Patriots weren't able to do offensively.
If you play that game and it goes out and that ricochet goes to Randall Cobb and he falls in the end zone, can you imagine what this would be like right now?
Well, and that's what I think everybody needs to remind themselves that are, like nonplussed about the win. It's like, yeah, it's not great, but it could have been a lot worse.
That's right. All right, we're going to step aside here for a moment.
Already? A break?
Yeah.
A break?
Yeah. Stay with us, though. This episode of the Patriots Postgame is brought to you by not only DraftKings, but the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors, outdoors, scenic views, city vibes, solo or family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
Man, I wish I was out there. Let's unretire. Why not?
Dan Marino? You're right.
22. I'm good right here, bro.
Should we? Don't even think about it.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
TouchView Interactive from the Oakers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half a one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
Man, I wish I was out there. Let's unretire. Why not?
Dan Marino? You're right.
22. I'm good right here, bro.
Should we? Don't even think about it.
DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
To stop interrupting my joke, I'm only telling it for the third time today. Do you know why the alligator crossed the road?
To get booty?
No, because he wanted to be by you.
See, Hardy, you got to go right in with the southern. You got to go the draw right.
You don't want that alligator cross that road?
A
little Cajun cooking.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
And Mike Dussault and Paul Perillo, and you at 855-PATS-500, web radio at patriots.com. Yes, Deuce?
No, nothing. Just saying, and the rest. Kind of like Gilligan's Island. It's a cast of thousands here.
Yeah, it's Hardy and the gang on the Patriots Postgame show. This episode presented by DraftKings. I got a bunch of emails coming in here. We have Stefan near Frankfurt, Germany. A win is a win, but boy, was that ugly. The O-line is so bad, Patriots couldn't even get 10 yards to run out the clock. In that shape, the Pats won't win many games. I'd even go so far as to say it would have been an ugly loss if Rodgers had been the Jets QB today. Mounting injuries on D are a real concern. D will run out of gas about midseason if the O doesn't start kicking and putting together longer scoring drives.
Yeah, I bet they're already on the phone with Carl Davis right now if that injury to Godchild is serious. But, I mean, I don't think that that's an insignificant injury. They don't have a lot of depth there with experience. I mean, Aquale is a rotational piece. I think, they can kind of get by with that. But they don't have another player like Devon Godshaw, so hopefully he's not
you don't think guy's big enough to...
I just think he's getting old. I mean, it's just, you kind of were hanging on with the older guys. I mean, I'm sure you can kind of stopgap it. I bet they bring Carl Davis back just to plug him in the middle. But, they can get by. But I do think that would be significant to lose him.
Haven't been less excited after the first win of the season in many, many years. Without a busted coverage 58-yard touchdown, we're 0-3. This offense is abysmal. The lack of talent on offense is painfully apparent. This team will be hard-pressed to win 5 games with this offense. They barely were able to beat a quarterbackless Jets. That's from Matt in Virginia.
It's weird. It's like, the spread it around thing. It's just there's not really an identity in this team. It's just, it's sporadic. Sometimes one guy's making a catch. Sometimes they run. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's Ramondre. Sometimes it's Elliott. So I don't think that that's a good thing. I'd like to see them starting to emerge of, who does Matt go to? Who does, we know he likes Hunter Henry. I think that's a given, but it's just sporadic with everyone else.
I remember we talked in week 1, and there was a lot of spreading the ball around, and I think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had 7 catches each.
Yeah.
And it was like, what would you rather have? And I said the 7 catches each.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing last week with Hill and Waddle. I'd rather have those 2, and then if I have to go to other guys to sprinkle it in, fine. And exactly the way you said it is how I feel today. There's a million guys caught passes today. And aside from the busted coverage that the guy just mentioned, none of it was really effective.
Yeah.
It's like Gesicki, first third down of the game. You're like, oh, big play by Gesicki. He's a big.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So like when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys catch balls, but 5 of them caught 1. Like,
hard to get a rhythm.
To what end is the whole spreading it around thing? I think they need, and I understand they don't really have that alpha number 1 guy, but I think they need to find someone who's going to consistently emerge as someone that Matt can rely on. And I don't know who it is. I think it's Hunter Henry, which is, kind of speaks volumes, but I think Kendrick Bourne is too unreliable. I don't think that they know where he's going to be a lot. Now, I thought he had a reasonably productive day with 4 catches on 5 targets. But, again, 46 yards. They're not making any plays. They're
That's
not
a good way to put it.
They're not getting the ball downfield at all.
Right. By the way, Nick in Carlisle, England said Mark's accent wasn't a Liverpool Scouse accent. Lads, that wasn't a Liverpool. Well, what kind of accent was it? Nick, don't leave us hanging like that. Also, horrible play calls. Thought Mac did all right tonight. Yes, a few bad throws targeting players. Or just now with it. I hate to say it. Also, some bad officiating tonight.
Yeah, that pass interference on Douglas was an egregious miss, I think.
Yeah.
I do.
But
I didn't really notice a whole lot of other bad officiating. I thought, I think it was Cobb that took the dive, right? That was Cobb, not Lazard. I thought that was a dive by him, but you put 2 hands on him and push him.
Yeah, I put that one more on Miles.
That was on Miles Bryant, but I think it's a dive. But it's
savvy.
I'm not sure that you're going to get too many refs that aren't going to call that based
on
on
just kind of fall. He pushed me. What?
Yeah, and Nick, feel free to email us back. Let us know what that accent was. I mean, I know.
Sound like you're from London.
Exactly. Well, he didn't sound like he was from London. That's my point. It wasn't a Cockney accent.
Liverpool.
It sounded more yeah.
No, see, I was kind of getting like a Dana Carvey doing Paul McCartney kind of vibe.
Oh, okay.
You know, like that kind of impression. You
And
know?
we nailed it geographically. I'm like, where is Cheshire? I know it's a county, and Liverpool's like 40
I knew
miles
right where
away.
you were going with it. I knew right where you were going with it.
Yeah. So, all right. But we're willing to learn, educate us. George in Illinois. He's got an Illinois accent. Go ahead, George. Let's hear it.
Geez.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
I apologize. No accents for you guys
That's
on
okay.
my end.
Oh,
But,
come on, Greg.
You both just touched on it right away with the sporadic point. 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. Juju's not playing like an $11 million receiver. Gesicki's barely seen it. Zeke up until today wasn't playing up to his cash value. So I don't know if it's about getting that alpha, as you talked about, Hardy, as much as it is trying to develop the guys that we bring in and fitting them into the play scheme. If this trend continues, and I say that because we know how volatile Septembers are, I point more at that than anything else, the inability to develop guys on the offensive end and to fit them in. And we're starting to lose that a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, George, your plan is much more plausible because how many more examples do we need of players being available and just not either deciding to not pursue them or they decide to go elsewhere? So, yeah, it is certainly makes sense to take your route and just develop the players that you have. Who would you hone in on? If you really want to have a go-to guy that's going to be a threat that offenses have to account for on every single play, who do you single or double out? Give me 1 or 2 players that you think are best suited for that type of coaching and that type of development. Who would they be? Anyone?
Oh, I thought you were talking with the caller.
No, he's gone.
Oh, didn't you think he was talking to the caller?
did too, yeah.
No, okay. If you want to pick a guy and say, okay, we're going to turn you into the real receiver threat.
Well, I go back to stupid Deebo Samuel because I just think he was. Everybody knew he was a fit. He knew he was a fit. I mean, he came here and it just that's what's just you got away from the kind of guys that were productive here. And I mean, he's one of those versatile guys you can move all around, do a bunch of different stuff with. I mean, a tough player, hard-nosed kind of guy. I mean, he just when he was coming out, it's like this is their kind of guy that plays the game they want, and they wanted Nikhil.
Yeah, I don't know what they, with what's on the roster. I think it's probably Bourne as a wide receiver. I think he's probably the most capable of turning in some big plays, and Henry. And I don't really know if that's enough to really scare anyone.
No, but
which is probably why they have to spread it around. To your point, Mike.
And part of the disconcerting aspect of it is that you just gave new money to Devontae Parker and Juju Smith-Schuster. You just reinvested. I mean, not with Juju, you were initially investing, but you reinvested with Parker. And I don't think Parker's a number 1, but I mean, I do think he's okay. But they just, they keep continuing to kind of double down. It seems like on what they believe.
Right. All right, Todd in Gardner, Mass. Hello, Todd. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
My take from this was Mac did as much as he possibly could to try to take the game on his shoulders and didn't have very much help. And Ramondre looked like he's just not got that vision or something's wrong. I don't know if he's hurt.
Yeah.
And Juju, I don't even want him on the field anymore. I really think we're going to have to start rolling with our younger guys and just hope that they can start developing because there's just too many question marks. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, I think Mac played a good game. Thanks, guys.
Are you willing to throw
Mac
in the
played
towel?
a good game today. Can he ever play a bad one?
He always makes some plays, but
I have a hard time saying anybody really on offense today.
Did he make a play today?
Did
Mac Jones make
the
plays
bomb?
today?
The bomb for a touchdown.
I don't know.
It was wide open.
But that was it. He made a couple of third down throws, but to what end? They don't lead to any drives.
Mm-hmm.
They don't lead to any points in any way. I thought he had time to throw today. I thought he stood in the pocket well. I thought he took some hits after he threw and stood in the pocket
Gave
well.
some hits too, apparently.
Right? Well, Sauce Gardner says he might have hit him in the nads. But I am with Mac Jones today exactly where I was the first 2 weeks. I'm right in the middle. I can point to 6 or 7 things that I really liked today. And you rattled off some third down throws, Mike, and all those would be on my list, especially the one to Parker on 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
Perfect throw on the sideline. Really nice execution. But I could point to 6 or 7 plays that I didn't like what I saw out of him today. Juju doesn't look right. How about the throws? Did those ever look right?
Not Juju. I mean,
how about the one down the numbers near the sideline to Bourne, where Bourne's on the inside and the throw goes outside?
No.
It's clearly just out of sync.
Yeah.
Everything is out of. It doesn't. Nothing really looks right at given times. And I'm sorry, when you throw for 200 yards and you complete 50% of your passes and score 13 points, I don't know how you can say he did all he could today.
Same story.
Isaac is in Sweden, spelled with 2 E's by Matt LePan. Sweden. Hello, Isaac.
Sweden.
What's going on?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You in Sweden?
First of all, I'm a long-time listener to all of your shows, and I really enjoy all the shows you do, really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I'm a first-time caller, so I'm a little bit nervous, actually.
That's okay.
Matt's taunting you.
I have a question for you, if that's all right.
Yeah, yes.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how they replaced McCordy so far. I think Peppers had a good game today, and as far as my untrained NFL I can see, I believe Duggar is taking a lot of the deep cover responsibilities.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Isaac.
Yeah.
I think you got a good eye on both of those.
I think it's been. I think it's been pretty good. I think that what they've done is instead of going single high a lot, they've had multiple guys back, and I think they've rotated their deep crew of safeties and used a lot of different bodies.
Yeah, I mean, and you've played some explosive wide receivers too, and they're you saw one of those plays today Tyreek Hill had where he caught one and ran through everybody, and so I think that's been okay so far. We'll see how it continues, but they had good depth there, so it felt like they weren't it wasn't a barren group, and as everyone probably knows by now, I'm a Peppers fan, so I thought, they had some people to. I do wonder though if it's taken Duggar out of the box a little bit, and we're kind of all on Peppers now because Peppers is getting more opportunities in the box to kind of make plays, and meanwhile Duggar's kind of the one stuck on the back end maybe a little bit more.
Both of those guys had 7 tackles today.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
no,
yeah. I mean, I think that's the best part of the defense. The safety group in general, they have it in numbers, they have it in versatility, and those guys have played well, I think, for the most part.
Johnny in Madtown says,
Johnny,
Paul, they were ultra conservative, treasonously conservative.
Okay.
Why are they doing deep stuff sideline throws? I thought Mac's strong suit was the middle of the field, tight ends and close stuff to Douglas, Bourne, and Juju.
Can you stop for a second? You can continue the email in a second.
Sure.
Deep stuff sideline is conservative?
I'm just telling you what he wrote.
No, but I'm asking. Do you guys think? Like I said, if you guys think they were conservative, then I'll say maybe I misremember.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think you can. I mean, as bad as the offense is, it would be even worse if you were just trying to make every throw 2 yards. I'm at least glad they're trying to push some stuff down the field. I mean, it's 50-50 right now.
I think,
but I don't think they're
the
being
deep
too
throw on
conservative.
third down that they didn't get the penalty on Douglas. That's conservative. At the end of the half. I mean, conservative is running a draw to make sure you get a field goal.
Yeah.
They took a shot for a touchdown.
I think it goes back to your other thing that they weren't. I don't think they are being conservative. I think
they
they're
were
too inconsistent.
I thought they were guilty at times of being a little too risky.
Aggressive.
Because I really think the only way they could have lost today is turning the ball over.
There were a couple that might have.
He threw into traffic a couple of times, yeah. Now, to his credit, he didn't do that late.
Mm-hmm.
Although he had one little screen that floated and kind of bounced off a couple of guys' hands. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I think Michael Carter might have gotten his hands on it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. I'm not passionate about it or anything, but I thought they threw the ball downfield. I thought they threw the ball more often than I would have, given the state of that game. I think they could have given the Jets the ball 10 more times, and they wouldn't have been able to score 13 points.
Alan, Italy. We are awful. We are not going to get more than 3 wins this year.
All right.
The tone,
strong to quite strong.
The tone, I'm kind of shocked. I'm bordering on shocked.
We're a long way from awful, in my opinion. But I get it. I know why people aren't happy. I get it.
Let's talk to Brandon in California here on the Patriots Postgame Show. This episode presented by DraftKings. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, Brandon.
So I have two questions. The first one is about Keon White. Like, I seen him blow up a play, and then after that, that was it for him. It seemed like he's not getting on the field too often. And the second one is, I think with Mac Jones always flopping, you think that he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt with these calls. That's it.
I'd have to go back and look on Keon White. I do think maybe even kind of same thing with Jennings. Like early on in the game, they kind of were dividing things up, but as the game wore on, it got more down to the nitty gritty. Then it was time to go with Uche and Judon, especially as they had to pass more.
Yeah, they have to throw in the fourth quarter. But I haven't noticed White that much in the last two games. He was very noticeable in the first game. Now, I don't think he plays a tremendous amount of snaps. I think he's like maybe a 25% kind of a guy.
Probably about.
But I noticed him a ton in the first game. And I didn't notice him as much last week or today. I did notice the one play I think that he's talking about.
A little early, couple plays
early.
early.
He had some penetration to cause some disruption.
But as long as he's, I'm not going to get too carried away with, being outraged about that. Like, I think he needs a little bit of time. And I think that I like Jennings too. I'd like to see Jennings get more of an opportunity just to,
I think Jennings, can I say, I think Jennings is a better player than Tavai.
Yeah.
I know they don't play the same position per se.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you on that.
I think he moves better.
He's got some savvy to him. He's getting around blockers now, which I like.
Elle from Wisconsin said, Hardy, I'll explain why people are unhappy with the win. This is just more the same. A middling team that plays coin flip games with other middling teams, beats the bad teams, and doesn't stand a chance versus the good ones. You might be okay with an 8-9 season every year, but the rest of us don't have to be. Okay, if you are a middling team and you are playing coin flip games with the middling teams, that's fine. I'm not going to disagree with that. What I would say is where I do have an issue is when you say you don't stand a chance versus the good ones. You had chances to beat the Eagles and the Dolphins, and I think those are two pretty good football teams.
I agree. They're both good teams.
So I disagree with you on that one, and I'm not okay with an 8-9 season. I'm just telling you, this is something approaching a little more normal in the NFL. And I'm not going to sit here and say you can't understand what it's like to be a fan of a team. No, because you watch sports and you're but everyone, even if you've been a lifelong Patriots fan and you're only 30 years old and you don't know anything other than winning, you still understand that most teams don't win at the clip that the Patriots did for 20 years. So you get
historic.
it.
Yeah.
I'm saying you need to make your peace with some 500-ish seasons. How much patience and how much appetite the owner is going to have for that and what can be done to change it quickly. I don't know. I don't know if it's a ton that you could do to change it quickly, but this is reality.
I mean, I don't mean this as a shot. I'm asking honestly as an example, but like
this feels like a shot is coming.
It might feel that way, but when the Lions were kind of struggling, but you have Barry Sanders, like did people take some enjoyment at least out of, hey, we're not one of the best teams in the NFL, but every week we get to watch one of the best players in the NFL and in the history of the NFL do their thing. I wonder if there's also part of a struggle for Patriots fans in that there just isn't a whole lot of players to kind of tune in and get excited to watch play right now.
Well,
it's middling football with middling players.
It was frustrating because you had, in my opinion, the most dynamic player to ever play the position in Barry Sanders, but you never had a coach, and you never had
consolation that that hey, like we stink, but today could be fun because he might do something historic and make 25 guys miss on a single run or something.
Yeah, you didn't have much in the way of a quarterback. I won't say you never had a quarterback in those years, but pretty much it was a one-man show. And then it was so painfully obvious that you had just one clown after another at head coach and no other help for him offensively. So that was an issue.
Yeah.
It's harder to identify with the Patriots. No one's calling Bill Belichick a clown. But I think what people are saying is maybe, his system is
Clown adjacent?
I don't know. Could it? Is it unfair to say that after 22? How long has Bill been here now? Since
99 or 2000.
2000.
Yeah, so
I mean,
23 years.
is
24
it crazy to think that after 23, 24 years, maybe the system has kind of run its course?
So here's where I go back to the pregame show when we had a caller say, "Are we guilty of too high expectations?" And the way I took that is, I think we are. But the email just said, so we're coin flip games with middling teams. And I don't get it. I don't get what it's going to take. This is 4 years of being a middling team. Like, this is what you are, a middling team.
This is the
So,
reality.
I'm not telling you should be doing handstands over the way this game unfolded today. You won a game because the other team's quarterback was simply had an inability to make average run-of-the-mill plays throughout the course of the game.
Right.
Okay? And I'm not telling you should be thrilled with that, but this is what I was talking about earlier when I said the Patriots are going to play the Jets. Then in a couple weeks they're going to play the Saints, and they're going to play the Raiders. And then they're going to play a little while after that Washington and Indianapolis and the Giants and Pittsburgh and Denver. And all of those games to me are today. They're all going to be coin flips. And you won one of them today. So let's hope you win the next time you play a coin flip game. If you can win enough coin flips, then you'll have a chance to make the playoffs. You're going to be hard-pressed to beat the Dallases, the Kansas Cities, the Buffaloes, much like you were hard-pressed to beat Miami and Philly. Because those teams have more talent than you. And you got a break today. You got to play a team with a backup quarterback. You might get that same break in 2 weeks against the Saints. Derek Carr had to leave the game today.
Yep.
And didn't come back. They were winning 17-0 when he got hurt. They ended up losing 18-17. So those kinds of things happen all across the league. There's no need to be all pissed off about it when it happens for your team. That's what happens. You get a break and you take advantage of it.
So this is what happens.
So,
I mean, does that make sense? Like, I do think that sometimes we look at it like, yeah, the expectations are too high. We're expecting to be the best team in the league for 25 years.
I want to be superior again. You're not.
Well, you're not. You're not going to be superior. We're not better than some of these teams. We were better than the team today because Mac Jones is better than Zach Wilson, and it's not close.
Yeah.
You can complain about your quarterback all you want, but he is a lot better than the guy he played against today.
Deshaun in Virginia. Hello. What's up, Deshaun?
Hello, guys. Once again, how you guys doing?
Excellent. Thanks for calling.
You're welcome. I think where the frustration is really building at is, and I want to reiterate what Paul said before, like even about the game being close. It was my point the entire time. The fact is that the offense doesn't come to join the party with the defense, and I think it's only a matter of time that the defense mounts some frustration over that. And I think that ever since coming into the season, I always thought when I talk to other Patriots fans and other people at different teams, fans or whatever, I told them our season either go two ways. We could really plummet, or we could rise to the stars, depending on if the offense is confident enough to help the defense out. Because I believe we can play and beat these better teams if the offense was better.
Yeah, there's something to that. And Deshaun, thank you for the phone call. Phil Perry, I think, said something like that earlier in the week, that the offense needs to show some fight. And it's normally you only see it on defense, and they kind of use that. That rallying cry.
Yeah.
But I think the offense does need to show a little fight. As a matter of fact, another email, Nick in Maine, he's like, where's the O-lineman to put number 57 in the dirt after Mac Jones gets roughed up?
That's the play, I believe, that Mac Jones squeezed.
Maybe he deserved it.
The grapes of Sauce Gardner, by the way, which I think might be why the Jets were so upset.
Yeah, he said, where's the O-lineman to go after that guy? It's like, it's going to be a 15-yarder. He said, you're punting anyway.
I know, and usually that's Cole Strange's department. He doesn't really have a problem with being a little extra business guy, but
I thought there was a lot of bad on that play on both teams. Just stop. The play's over. The whistle's blowing. Stop.
Yeah.
Max, stop. Stop trying to push everybody off you. Stop trying to keep running. And Jets, stop. Stop tackling him. I didn't understand. The whistle had blown way before that. This was this play right here. Yeah, they should have both gotten penalties on this play, if you ask me.
Where's Sauce? Can we get a ISO cam on
And by the way, I'm not
right there.
Well, no. So Sauce is not there, right?
He was walking over to.
So maybe this isn't the play. He didn't specify what play it was, but they were mad on this play. I don't see sauce, so it couldn't have been that one.
Oh.
I would just say, like, you can't take a 15-yard penalty there. It's 4th down and less than a yard. If you want to go for it, you can go for it there, right? Now, I think that Bill made the right call by punting because, as I said, the only way you could lose this game is by turning the ball over, and that's turning it over on downs near midfield. That, to me, wouldn't have made a lot of sense.
I want to grab one more call before we get to the coach and quarterback because it's quarterback related, and I also think from an historical perspective, Paul might have something to say on this. Oh. Adam in Maine. Yes, Adam?
Hey, guys, I just want to say this really is the worst quarterback play that I have seen since Tony Eason. This is, and I would rank Hugh Millen ahead of him. I think Scott Zolak was a better quarterback. Hugh Millen at the time, we'd go 8-8, but he had the benefit of no defense. He was coming back from behind, and we were winning 39-34 sometimes.
Yeah, Hugh Millen was terrible.
Is Mac Jones better than Hugh Millen?
By a landslide. This is.
I mean, and we have a big problem. I haven't heard this mentioned yet, but these short the swing passes, anything out to a running back, he can't put it on the back. The only time he gets it to a running back is when he hands it to him.
Oh no, we've mentioned that. It's been an issue with the short passes.
He was a little
back.
loose with the ball today at some of those short throws. I agree. There was some of them were kind of scary, but I mean, come on, Mac Jones is far better than those quarterbacks that they had in the 90s. You know, the Hugh Millens, the Tommy Hodsons.
Those guys couldn't play in the
league.
Zoe.
I mean, come on.
Okay.
Does Zoe think he's better than Mac? I wonder. Did you ever ask him that?
That's a good question.
Did you ever ask him off the air? I wouldn't put him on the spot on the air, although it might be funny. Kind of like when you guys asked him who his favorite kid was, and he gave it some thought for a little bit.
he was getting ready to answer.
That was funny. He almost answered it.
Yeah.
What are their names again?
Whichever one was drinking with me at the time.
Wow. Hey, let's hear from the head coach, and then we will hear from the quarterback as well. We doing this again here for the head coach? No, we're just going to hear from Bill Belichick after today's 15-10 win over the Jets at MetLife Stadium. Here he is.
Okay, it was a good, good win for us today down here. It's always tough. Jets are, a tough team. Do a good job. Defense is really, really good, and had a good running game. I thought we played a pretty good run defense against them, and we're able to run the ball better than we have first couple of weeks. In the end, some key plays in the fourth quarter that fortunately we were able to make a couple more than they were. But it's kind of been like this 3 weeks in a row for us. So good to come out on the good end of it.
Bill, how much is this a continued learning process for your group and for your team as you get better and better each week?
Yeah, hopefully. We're starting to have a little continuity here on the offensive line, so that was good. I think that definitely helped the running game. Coach O'Brien did a good job mixing the play actions in there. We had a big pass on that. I think probably the running game helped that a little bit. So, the more we can keep these guys working together and improve our timing and execution, the better off we're going to be. No turnovers, that's a good place to start.
What have you seen from Farrell Brown, and how nice is it, as you mentioned, to
Yeah, Farrell's done a good job. He came in here the first week and played in the opener and played every week. And, it's good to have a guy that can do what he does. He's got some size, he can block, catch the ball a little bit. It's a good compliment to Mike and Hunter.
Coach, Chad Riley had some big kicks today. Just got to talk about the day he had.
Sorry?
Chad Riley, the day he had today.
It's a tough day to kick. A bunch of long ones. The weather wasn't great, but I thought he hit the ball pretty well. Timing on a couple of them could have been better. We need to have a little cleaner operation, but I thought he showed a lot of mental toughness coming back and making that kick in the third quarter. After the one at the half, that was just it just wasn't a great operation. But yeah, he did a good job for us, and same thing with Bryce. He had a couple of good punts there at the end, situational punts that were what we needed, and those guys, been a couple bad weather games already in September, which is not usually the case, but that's what it is, and that's what we're going to have to play in. So, some good learning experiences for both of them.
I know you touched on it, no turnovers, but how important was that today?
Yeah, it's always important. Yeah, that's most important thing's points. Next most important thing turnovers. So there's certainly a correlation there. So if we take better care of the ball, then that gives us a lot better chance to win.
Talk about Zeke. Do you feel him getting a little bit more comfortable and confident as now he's in week 3 with you guys and progressing?
Sure. Yeah. Zeke's done a good job for us, and I think we're getting a little bit of feel for some other things, with him and vice versa. I thought he had a couple, real good runs today. We'll look at the film and look a little more carefully, but I thought he did a nice job of, he got his pads down, got some tough yards, and his vision was good, on a couple of cutback plays. So it was good.
Bill, 157 yards on the ground. Vidarian Lowe steps in at left tackle. It's been a process for you guys at right tackle. Excuse me. Just what's that been like watching the offensive line? David Andrews said earlier in the week, "Hey, we got to have that mentality to run the football against this team."
Yeah, I mean it was a really big challenge against the Jets front, and they play a lot of people up there, and they got a lot of good ones. Obviously Williams and Woods inside, and those guys are good, and the ends. It's a good group. 9 guys that roll them all through. But a lot of it's just staying on the blocks, finishing blocks, good running. Just good execution, grind it out. It's hard to rip off a bunch of 20-yard runs against these guys. Like, they just don't give those up, and they support quickly. Carter and Amos, support the run quickly. So the receivers are are the challenge to block them. Although I thought it was competitive, but yeah, that I think that kind of helped us slow the pass rush down a little bit and keep the quarterback from getting hit. Again, there were some plays where he gave up pressure, but overall I thought it was a decent day on pass protection. So we just gotta convert and get more points than we got. 15 is not gonna generally you're gonna need more than that. But it was good enough today. So it's a great job defensively, especially in the first half. Those guys really played well and responded.
What did you see from Zach Wilson? Final question for Coach. What did you see from Zach Wilson today?
He really got out of the pocket there a couple times in the third and fourth quarter, and hurt us. Really athletic. Thought he hung in there, and it was one of those kind of games, back and forth game. They had the ball, at the end of the game with a chance thrown in the end zone. There's a lot of that in the National Football League these days. So, glad to get out of here with a win.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
All right, there you go. There's Coach Belichick after the 15-10 win at MetLife Stadium today over the Jets. We do have an optimistic email here from Mark.
We could use a little optimism here in the last 10 minutes. We didn't have a lot of it in the show.
Don't think it's the players as much as the play calling. Too many runs up the middle for low yards. Nothing exciting on offense. They did better with the tosses to running backs. I actually think this team is better than its 1-2 record. Optimistic for the remainder of the season.
Okay. All right.
You think they're better than their 1-2 record?
Now you're going to make fun of me. I think they are a 1-2 team right now. But I do think that we could use a little. From the listeners, I'm talking about. I just think it's been pretty. People have been pretty down.
Well, let's see what Eric in New Jersey has to say. Eric, are you going to be optimistic for us here?
Absolutely not. Point there. Paul, I have to push. I have to give you a little snarky with you here. Again, like I said, you said we were competitive against the first 2 weeks. Again, you could say the same thing last year. We beat the Detroit Lions. They were 0-2 at the time. At the end of the season, way different team. I thought that we wouldn't be able to beat them last year, the team that they finished, as opposed to the team that we played them early in the season. So that'd be like my only pushback, because I don't think we match up with those teams. Obviously, you look at Miami.
So what do you? I'm not sure. What are you pushing back? I agree with you. I would actually look at today from the Jets' perspective, the way the Patriots fans tried to look at the first 2 weeks. You had the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win. I don't really think you were very competitive in the game for the most part in the game, but because you're tough and because you made some plays, on defense, you had a chance at the end. But the other team was better. The Patriots were better than the Jets today for 58 minutes. And I think the same thing about Philadelphia and Miami, especially Miami. Miami really, I thought, controlled the game. Philly was a little bit more even. I thought Miami, the Patriots had a chance to tie at the end, but I thought Miami was clearly better. Same with I would say today about the Patriots. The Patriots were clearly better today than the Jets.
I would base it off this. It's not who you played, but when you play them.
Yeah,
and obviously,
that's big.
So it's and then the second point is, and I'll take it off the line. Cole Strange. Too many times I saw him on the ground today. I understand that's Quentin Williams, first-round draft pick. I mean, he's out the game again. Injuries. I think the boat started. I think ship started to sail on Taekwon, but Cole Strange needs to be a look here, and I'll take it off the line. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
I think the jury's still out on him.
Yep.
I agree.
I mean, for all the praise of Christian Gonzalez and what he's brought as a first-round pick, it's hard to watch Cole Strange and see the first-round pick emerge. I haven't really seen signs of him living up to that billing yet.
Vidu in California. Hello, Vidu. What's going on?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Yeah, sometimes my car's audio is weird, so I have to ask. Good. We won today. There were obviously some plays. I think people said, "Oh, why didn't we score?" Part of me thinks Bill was petty. We got 15 points because we beat him 15 times in a row. Probably that has something to do with it. But my question is, that touchdown pass to Farrell, it was beautiful. It was more of what we want to see in the team. Why didn't we get more of that throughout the game? And what do you think we should change going down the road to kind of get more of those kind of touchdown plays? I thought
because I think the Jets didn't blow the coverages on every play. Like they blew the coverage on that play.
Yeah, it was totally
one covered them.
Blown coverage. Whew. Sorry, Vito.
62-yarder for Matt Gay.
Wow,
yeah,
snuck it in there.
This isn't great for the Patriots if the Cowboys end up losing this game to the Cardinals.
No, they'll be
and
mad.
Come home pissed off, home field.
They'll be mad and they'll play really good.
Yeah, that's not great.
Big problems.
That's not great. Well, Mac Jones didn't know that the Cowboys were losing when he held his press conference. We will hear from the quarterback now. Go ahead. What do we got?
Bottom line, you said it, just a win. How good did it feel to come out of here with a win today?
Yeah, good. I think for sure that was our goal, no turnovers, so we definitely did that. Offensive line did a great job keeping me upright, and really proud of those guys in the backs for running hard. And then when we had to make plays, we did, but definitely inconsistent, but got to be happy with the win. I mean, that's all we came here for.
What would you like to see cleaned up? Maybe some third down plays. Second half, it seemed like you guys had some opportunities and just couldn't cash in.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely close, and I thought the play calling was really good. Coach O'Brien did a great job calling a great game. We just got to execute better, and I just got to let them touch the ball. But in a day like today, with the wind and the rain, you just got to be really smart and play smart football.
How valuable was that rushing attack today, Mac? And in particular, what have been your impressions of Zeke since he joined the team?
Great. Those guys are great together. The offensive line definitely brought it today. I thought they did a great job, and Zeke and Mondre are definitely working well together. They're different, but they're very similar in their own ways, and just happy to have both of them.
Matt, walk through the touchdown pass to Farrell Brown.
Yeah, it was just a little play-action play, and we kind of knew it was going to work, and he made a great catch. And we worked on that in practice, and it worked in the game, so that's what we want.
How did you know it was going to work?
What did you say?
Let you know it was going to work.
I'm going to keep it to myself.
Before the throw to DeMario for the third down conversion.
Yeah.
Can you take us through that play? You talked about conditions today and how the difficulty of that throw in particular.
You're talking about the one over the shoulder? Yeah, I'd have to watch the tape. I changed it to that play, and I thought he definitely is faster than that corner or nickel. So just wanted to give him a chance. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
You guys had some success on the sneaks, other than maybe the one that was stopped. But on one of them, it looked like they took some extra liberty in there at the end with you, knocking you over. Can you share with us?
Just football. I think it's a physical game, and at that point in the game, you just have to fight to get it, no matter what you got to do to get the 1 yard. So this is part of the game, no big deal.
On that play, Sauce Gardner was just saying he thought you gave him a low blow. Did you think you did anything wrong on that play?
No. I think just trying to get the first down, 3rd and 1, and then we came back on 4th and 1, and then try to fake it. So definitely a physical play. A lot of guys are in there. That's kind of like the famous quarterback sneak that everybody does. And there's, all the guys on both teams are in there, so it can get, pretty physical, and that's something that I have to learn from is getting my pads a little bit lower so that I can get it and not get held up.
Matt, during the week, what did Matthew Slater's leadership kind of provide in an 0-2 hole? He's obviously a leader all the time, but specifically this week.
Oh, he's great. He always is the same guy. He's seen a lot of wins, and he's been a part of very few losses. But he has great wisdom, and we kind of go as he goes. Definitely a great mentor for me and everybody on the team. So we just got to keep going.
Matt, how grateful are you for the defense and the players on the other side?
Yeah, I knew today that in the conditions that they were going to do a great job stopping the other offense, and I kind of was really proud of them because they just kept going out there and doing it to the very last play. And for me, just put more points on the board, and we'll do that. It's like I said, it was a tough day, but we got the win, and a lot of it was from special teams and defense. Thanks, man. Cool. Thank you.
Cool, he said. He is cool. Mac Jones, cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
Got win number 1 on the season. All right.
Cha-ching.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Patriots country.
Okay, so there we go. There's your quarterback, and we have an answer from Nick on Mark's accent.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, we thought it was a Liverpool accent. He was near Liverpool, and Nick says, who is also from the UK, he said, just sounded like a Southern accent to me. I would be very surprised if Mark is originally from the North, or he's just really posh. I'm not sure.
Now I feel like we've started a little bit of a class war.
Yeah.
Across the pond.
Posh spice.
Yeah, I mean, is posh, is that like a really derogatory thing to say? I mean,
not for
if I were to call you
spice.
posh,
Very posh.
would you take that as a compliment?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
would.
I think so. You're like very upper crust and fancy, and I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I don't speak British.
That's an underrated good line right there.
Well done. Well done. All right, final thoughts on the game today. Paul, you go first.
I just would say that they did what they had to do to find a way to get the win. I didn't think it was going to be much different than it was. Yeah. That's kind of what I was envisioning. The defense winning the game, and that's what happened. And it's, you know what I mean? It's better than losing.
Yeah. We got a lot of losses. I would echo those sentiments. I would say, kind of watching and with one eye what's going on with Dallas too. Maybe giving you a little bit of optimism that
down 21-10 at the half.
Maybe they could get in there and get a win next week. But I think it gets back to being another real difficult opponent next week, and one that 15 points probably not going to be enough against Dallas, no matter how they're playing this week. So hopefully they continue to evolve and find something and kind of just start to find an identity on offense, because you can't really complain about the offensive line and the running game right now. It's more just a whole picture thing.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for being a part of this episode of the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings. We will be back on Sunday afternoon. Let's say 2 o'clock meetup.
How about like 2:06?
2:05.
I like that better. 05.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I have no
Sometime
idea.
around 2 o'clock for the pregame before the Patriots visit the Dallas Cowboys. Until that time, enjoy Patriots Unfiltered this week and all the other good content that the likes
Great
of Mike
content.
Dussault and Paul Perillo and the whole crew will be feeding you on Patriots.com. The final score for the final time, Patriots 15.
What?
Jets 10. They deserve it after getting win number 1 on the season. Thank you for listening.
I don't
and
even know
watching.
who you are.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.